You think you can play poker, boy? Let's see what you got. Billionaire Richard Blackstone shoves 11-year-old Jaden Thompson into the leather chair at his poker table. The child's feet barely touch the floor as Manhattan's elite crowd around with their phones out. One hand, you versus me. If you win, impossible. I'll pay for any school you want. When I win, Blackstone's cold eyes find Angela Thompson wiping down glasses in the kitchen. Your mama gets fired tonight. He flicks poker chips at Jaden's face. Each one leaves a red mark. Come on, kid. Show these people why you belong in the kitchen with mommy, not at the table with your betters. The room explodes with laughter. Cameras start rolling. Everyone expects to watch a poor black child get crushed by a billionaire in minutes. They have no idea they're about to witness something that will destroy everything they believe about intelligence and worth. Have you ever seen the exact moment when an underestimated genius explodes and changes everything forever? Picture this. 40 floors above the chaos of Manhattan, where the city's noise becomes a distant whisper and power lives behind bulletproof glass. Richard Blackstone's penthouse sprawls across 8,000 square ft of pure luxury. Marble floors so polished they reflect like mirrors. Crystal chandeliers worth more than most people's houses, and floor to ceiling. Windows offering a god's-eye view of Central Park. Tonight, the main living room has been transformed into a professional poker arena. 3 felt tables occupy the center, each surrounded by leather chairs that cost $15,000 apiece. Automatic card shufflers hum quietly in the corners. Crystal decanters filled with whiskey, older than most of the staff, catch the light from above. The air smells of expensive cologne, aged tobacco, and the kind of money that never worries about tomorrow. This isn't just a game night. This is where New York's most powerful people come to prove they're smarter than everyone else, betting amounts that could feed families for years while calling it charity. The entry fee tonight, $10,000 per person, supposedly benefiting youth education programs. Though most of that money will end up funding another wing of some prep school that already has too much, Richard Blackstone stands at the center of it all, like a king surveying his domain. 52. He's got the kind of confidence that only comes from never being told no. His handmade Italian suit costs more than most cars. His PC Filippi watch could buy a house. When he speaks, people listen. Not because he's wise, but because he signs their paychecks or funds their projects or holds their mortgages. He made his billions in tech, but his attitude comes from something much older and uglier. The belief that wealth equals intelligence and skin color determines worth. Vincent, deal another round. Blackstone calls out to the man shuffling cards with machine-like precision. Vincent Vinny Castellano moves like poetry in motion when he handles cards. 30 years of professional poker have turned his fingers into instruments of art. The cards seem to dance between his hands, flowing in perfect arcs across the felt. He's here because these rich folks pay him $5,000 a night to lose gracefully to them, making them feel like poker gods. While never letting them lose so much, they stop inviting him back. It's a delicate balance. Stroke their egos, take their money, and pretend their amateur mistakes are brilliant strategies. But tonight feels different. Tonight, Vinny keeps glancing at the small figure sitting quietly in the corner. Jaden Thompson perches on the edge of a chair that swallows his 11-year-old frame, his legs dangling like a child's shoulder. His clothes tell a story. The button-down shirt is clean, but faded from too many washings. The khakis have been carefully mended at the knee, and his sneakers have seen better days, but still shine from his mother's careful attention. Everything about him screams, "Doesn't belong here," which is exactly how these people like it. But if you look closer, really look, you'll notice something else. Jaden's eyes never stop moving. They track every card dealt, every chip bet, every facial expression around the tables. His head tilts slightly when someone bluffs. His fingers tap soundless rhythms against his leg. Not nervous energy, but calculations. While the adults assume he's just a bored child watching incomprehensible adult activities, Jaden is building a database of human behavior that would impress psychology professors. Patricia Whitmore adjusts her diamond necklace for the 15th time tonight. The gesture so automatic she doesn't realize. She does it every time she's about to fold a losing hand. James Morrison's left eye twitches microscopically when he's bluffing, a tell so subtle even Vinny hasn't caught it, but Jaden catalogued it months ago. Dr. Elizabeth Foster touches her earring when she's calculating odds. Always 3 quick taps with her index finger. These people have been playing poker in front of Jaden for 3 years, treating him like a piece of furniture that breathes. They discuss million-dollar deals, personal scandals, and business strategies as if he's deaf and dumb. But Jaden absorbs everything, not just the poker, but the psychology behind it. The way wealth makes people careless, how privilege blinds them to their own weaknesses, how people who've never been truly challenged develop habits that would be fatal against real competition. Angela Thompson moves through the kitchen with quiet efficiency. Her presence, so unobtrusive that guests sometimes forget there are actual people preparing their food and cleaning their glasses. At 38, she carries herself with the dignity of someone who's learned to find pride in honest work, even when that work is invisible to those who benefit from it. Her hands, roughened by years of cleaning supplies and hard labor, move with practiced grace as she arranges appetizers and refills drinks. She's been watching her son watch these people, and she's seen something the wealthy guests have missed. Jaden isn't just observing, he's learning. Every poker session becomes a masterclass in reading people, in understanding the mathematics of probability, in controlling emotions under pressure. While other 11-year-olds play video games, her son has been getting a graduate-level education in psychology and game theory from some of the city's most successful people, and they have no idea they're teaching him the power dynamics in this room are as rigid as the marble floors. There are those who sit at the tables and those who serve them, those who make decisions, and those who clean up the consequences, those who matter and those who don't. Jaden and Angela exist in that second category, visible when needed, invisible when not human furniture that keeps the important people comfortable. But tonight, those carefully maintained barriers are about to explode. Because while Richard Blackstone sees a poor black child who should know his place, what's actually sitting in that oversized chair is a mathematical prodigy who's been studying his weaknesses for 3 years, a psychological genius who's learned to read micro-expressions better than FBI profilers, a strategic mind that's been absorbing advanced game theory while pretending to be background decoration. The stage is set. The players are in position. And Richard Blackstone is about to discover that sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one you never thought to notice. The evening has been flowing with its usual rhythm of self-congratulation and casual cruelty when Richard Blackstone notices Jaden studying the poker manual lying on the side table. The boy's fingers trace the pages showing hand rankings and betting strategies, his young mind absorbing information like a sponge. "Look at this," Blackstone announces loudly, his voice cutting through the sophisticated chatter. The helps boy thinks he can read strategy books. How precious. He strides over and snatches the book from Jaden's hands, waving it in the air like evidence at a trial. "Tell you what, kid, since you're so fascinated by poker, why don't you show us what you've learned?" Entertainment for the adults. The room's energy shifts as guests abandon their conversations to gather around. Phone cameras emerge from expensive purses and jacket pockets. This is the kind of spontaneous cruelty that makes for great social media content. Actually, Blackstone's eyes light up with malicious inspiration. Let's make this really educational. One hand of Texas Hold, the boy versus me. Patricia Whitmore claps her hands together. Oh, how fun. Like teaching a dog new tricks. Here's the deal. Blackstone continues, his voice getting louder as he feeds off the crowd's anticipation. If this kid somehow beats me, which is about as likely as pigs flying, I'll fund a full scholarship to any prep school in the city. Murmurs of amusement ripple through the crowd. $10,000 in educational costs is pocket change to these people. A safe bet Blackstone knows he'll never have to pay. But when I win, and I will win, there are consequences. His cold gaze finds Angela in the kitchen doorway, and the room falls silent. Your mother packs her things tonight, finds herself a new job somewhere far from here. Angela's wine glass trembles in her hands. 4 years of steady employment, health insurance, the small room in the building staff quarters that she and Jaden call home. Everything hangs in the balance of a card game designed to humiliate her son. Come on now, Blackstone says, grabbing Jaden's arm and pulling him toward the main poker table. Don't be shy. Show these nice people what your kind can do when you try to think. Vinny looks uncomfortable for the first time all evening. Mr. Blackstone, maybe we should deal the cards, Vincent. Unless you want to find yourself a new gig too. The professional poker player's jaw tightens, but he begins shuffling with sharp, angry movements. His 30 years in the game have shown him many ugly sides of human nature, but this feels different. This feels wrong. $500 each, Blackstone announces, pushing a stack of chips toward Jaden. Real money for a real game, though. I suppose for someone like you, $500 is quite a fortune. James Morrison laughs. Careful, Richard. Don't break the bank for the kid. Jaden looks across at the man who's about to destroy his family's life for sport. The chips feel heavy in his small hands. The cameras are recording. The laughter is getting louder, but as he settles into the leather chair that's too big for his frame, something changes in his eyes. The scared little boy disappears, replaced by something else entirely, something that's been watching, learning, and waiting for exactly this moment. 3 years ago, in a cramped apartment that smelled of medicine and old photographs, 8-year-old Jaden Thompson sat cross-legged on a threadbare carpet, watching his grandfather's weathered hands shuffle a deck of cards with the precision of a surgeon. Poker isn't about the cards, little man, William Thompson said, his voice soft but firm as he dealt 2 cards to each of them. It's about reading souls. Every person on this earth has tells little habits that give away their secrets when they think nobody's watching. William had learned poker in the foxholes of Korea, where reading an enemy's intentions could mean the difference between life and death. After the war, he'd cleaned office buildings at night and played cards in Washington Square Park on weekends, turning $5 into grocery money through pure skill and observation. See this? William pointed to his own face as he made an exaggerated expression. When people lie, their bodies betray them. A twitch here, a touch there. Most folks are walking books. You just got to learn how to read. Young Jaden absorbed every word like gospel, while other kids his age played video games. He studied his grandfather's hands as they demonstrated probability. If there are 52 cards and you see 5, how many are left? What are the chances the next card helps you? William would ask, and Jaden's mind would calculate the answers faster than most adults could think, but it was more than mathematics. William taught Jaden to notice everything, how people's voices changed when they were nervous, how their breathing shifted when they were excited, how their eyes moved when they were calculating lies. Rich folks think their money makes them smart, William would say with a knowing smile. but money can't buy the ability to control your face when you're scared. The lessons continued every Sunday for 2 years, until the cough started. Then the hospital visits. Then the diagnosis came. Too late, because they couldn't afford the right doctors, the right tests, the right treatments. "Don't let them tell you what you're worth, Jaden," William whispered from his hospital bed, pressing a worn $5 poker chip into his grandson's palm. "This old thing's from Vegas, 1973. Went it fair and square from a man who thought I was just another janitor. Show them who you are." William died 3 days later, leaving behind a grandson with a photographic memory for human behavior and a burning desire to prove that intelligence doesn't come with a price tag. The real education began when Angela started bringing Jaden to work with her. While she cleaned million-dollar apartments and served at exclusive parties, Jaden became invisible furniture, present but unnoticed, watching and learning from people who treated him like a piece of decoration. At the Blackstone penthouse, he discovered a goldmine of psychological data. These wealthy players had never faced real consequences for their poker mistakes, so their tells were huge, obvious, and completely unconscious. Patricia Whitmore touched her necklace every time she was about to fold. James Morrison's left eye twitched when he bluffed. Dr. Foster tapped her earring 3 times when calculating odds. Most importantly, Richard Blackstone himself had a tail so massive it was almost comical. He touched his expensive watch whenever he felt uncertain or weak. The gesture was so automatic that he did it during business calls, at dinner parties, even while arguing with his wife. It was his security blanket, and he had no idea he was doing it. Every day after school, while Angela worked her second job cleaning offices downtown, Jaden spent hours at the public library. Free internet became his poker university. He studied professional tournament videos, memorized probability charts, and practiced on free online sites using fake accounts. His young mind absorbed advanced concepts that took most players years to understand. Pot odds, implied odds, reverse psychology, leveling theory. The librarians thought he was researching a school project. His teachers assumed he was just a quiet kid who liked computers. Nobody suspected that an 11-year-old was developing expertise that would challenge seasoned professionals. But the real motivation wasn't fame or money or even revenge. Every night, Jaden watched his mother count and recount their small pile of bills, watched her skip meals so he could eat, watched her work 16-hour days to keep them afloat. Every poker video he studied, every probability he memorized, every tell he catalogued was for her. Tonight, with their entire future hanging on 5 cards and a billionaire's cruelty, all those hours of secret preparation would finally have their moment. The Williams poker chip sat heavy in Jaden's pocket as he faced the man who thought intelligence was inherited through bank accounts. Time to show them what a janitor's grandson could really do. Vinny's hands move with professional precision as he shuffles the deck one final time, the cards flowing like water between his fingers. The sound cuts through the penthouse's tense silence. 52 possibilities about to determine a family's fate. "Gentlemen, this is Texas. Hold them," Vinny announces, his voice carrying the authority of 3 decades at poker tables. Each player receives 2 whole cards, followed by 5 community cards dealt in stages. Best 5-card hand wins. He slides 2 cards face down to each player. The soft whisper of cardboard against felt sounds like thunder in the suddenly quiet room. 20 phones are recording now, capturing what everyone assumes will be swift justice delivered to an up-piddity child. Jaden peeks at his cards with the careful precision his grandfather taught him. 7 of spades, 8 of spades. His face reveals nothing, but inside his mind immediately begins calculating. These are what poker players call suited connectors. Two cards in sequence and the same suit. Not a powerhouse hand, but one with serious potential if the right community cards appear. Across the table, Blackstone glances at his cards and can't suppress a slight smile. Ace of clubs, king of diamonds, big slick, as it's known in poker circles, one of the strongest starting hands possible. His confidence surges as he mentally counts the scholarship money he'll never have to pay. Pre-flop betting begins with you, Mr. Blackstone, Vinny states. Blackstone doesn't hesitate. He pushes $50 worth of chips forward with theatrical flair. Let's start with something small. Don't want to scare the boy away too quickly. The crowd chuckles at his casual cruelty. Patricia Whitmore whispers loudly, "How generous of you, Richard, starting slow for the child." All eyes turn to Jayden. This is his first decision point, and everyone expects him to fold immediately. Why would a poor kid risk $50? Probably more money than his family sees in a week. But Jayden is remembering his grandfather's lessons about reading people. Blackstone's nostril flared when he made that bet. The subtle tell of someone confident in their hand strength. The way he leaned back slightly after pushing chips forward. Classic dominance posturing. Most telling of all, Blackstone didn't touch his watch, meaning he felt completely secure. Jayden pushes $50 forward to match the bet. I call. The first murmur of surprise ripples through the crowd. The kid isn't folding. This might actually be interesting. Vinny burns one card and deals the flop. 3 community cards face up in the center of the table. The cards fall in sequence. 6 of spades, 9 of hearts, 5 of clubs. Let me explain what this means for each player, because this is where the hand gets fascinating. Jayden's 7 and 8 of spades combined with the 6, 9 and 5 on the board gives him what's called an open-ended straight draw. He needs either a 4 or a 10 to complete a straight 5 cards in numerical sequence. With 8 cards in the deck that can help him, he has about a 31% chance of making his hand by the end. Blackstone's ace-king, meanwhile, has completely missed this flop. He has what poker players call overcards, cards higher than anything on the board, but no pair, no nothing. He's essentially holding ace-high, which in poker terms means he has almost nothing. But here's the crucial part. Blackstone doesn't realize how weak his position is. In his mind, ace-king is still a premium hand, and he's facing a child who couldn't possibly understand advanced poker strategy. 50 more, Blackstone announces, pushing chips forward with renewed aggression. He's trying to bully Jayden out of the pot before the kid gets lucky. This is where Jayden's 3 years of observation pay dividends. He's seen Blackstone make this exact move dozens of times, betting aggressively when feeling strong, trying to end hands quickly. But something's different this time. Blackstone's hand moved toward his watch for just a split second before stopping, a micro-tell that suggests uncertainty beneath the bravado. Instead of folding like everyone expects, Jayden does something that shocks the room. He raises to 150. "Raise," he says quietly, pushing chips forward with steady hands. The penthouse fall. High above Manhattan, Richard Blackstone's 8,000-square-foot penthouse gleams like a palace, marble floors like mirrors, chandeliers worth more than houses, and whiskey older than his staff. This isn't just wealth, it's a performance of dominance. Below, the city hums like a distant whisper, while up here they breathe rarefied air, untouched by consequence. Tonight, the living room has been transformed into a poker arena where ego, power, and reputation are all on the table. 2 kinds of people fill the room: the elite, Patricia, James, and Dr. Elizabeth, dripping in jewelry and arrogance, pretending sophistication while masking their emptiness, the help, Angela Thompson, the maid, quiet and invisible, her hands rough from years of honest labor. Her 11-year-old son Jaden sits silently in the corner, small and unnoticed, but his eyes are sharp, absorbing everything. The dealer, Vinny, stands between worlds, polite, professional, but uneasy. He senses the night is about to turn dark. When Blackstone catches Jaden reading a poker manual, he feels insulted. How dare the helps boy try to understand their games? He decides to make it a spectacle. He shoves the boy, flicks chips at his face and sneers. "One hand, kid. You win. I'll pay for any school you want. You lose, your mom's fired." The phones come out, 20 cameras recording every moment. The wealthy crowd watches, entertained. For them, it's a game. For Jaden and his mother, it's survival. Flashback. We see where Jaden's brilliance was born. His grandfather, William, a janitor and Korean War veteran, once said, "Poker isn't about the cards, it's about reading souls." William played in the park to earn grocery money, turning struggle into wisdom. Before he died, he gave Jaden a $5 poker chip, his only lucky charm. Jaden took those lessons to heart. He studied game theory in the library, mastering math, psychology, and patience. He doesn't play for money. He plays for his mother's future. The cards are dealt. Jaden, 7-8 of spades, small but full of potential. Ace-king, powerful in appearance, fragile in truth. The flop comes, 6-9-5. Jaden now has a straight draw. Blackstone has nothing. Blackstone bets, trying to intimidate. Jaden raises, calm, fearless, eyes unblinking. The billionaire shifts in his chair. The crowd falls silent. Every phone camera is recording history, and the story ends on one haunting line. The penthouse fall. Not just the fall of cards, but of arrogance, cruelty, and the illusion of power.